welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another UFC fight prediction video. In this video, I'll be predicting the full card of fights for UFC Fight Night, Royval versus Taira. So without further ado, let's get to our first fight on the card. So in our first fight, let's see, we have in the flyweight division, we got Clayton Carpenter versus Lucas Rocha. And how do I feel about this one right here? Is I'm going low confidence Clayton Carpenter to beat Lucas Rocha. I'm gonna say by decision here. Yeah, Lucas Rocha, he's a solid fighter. Definitely the much better striker. And he can take advantage of Carpenter's tendency to dip his head, whether he's throwing strikes or looking for takedowns, as he was able to do against the last opponent. But I'm just not the guy that typically just picks opponent purely based off one moment. Yes, one moment can cash. Sometimes I think he probably does have decent odds here. He has a decent chance to win. And he has decent, as far as money-wise, I think he's like a minus, he's a plus, he's in the plus money. Probably close to plus 200 underdog. But he's, the odds are probably aren't where they should be, is all I'm saying. But Rocha's a solid fighter, but again, I'm not a guy that's going to pick based off, he had a chance to catch him with a knee. When his last fight, he fought a guy nowhere near as talented as Clayton Carpenter. Yes, it was at a higher weight class, 135, but that guy was small as well. He probably should be fighting 125 as well. But yeah, a guy nowhere near as talented as Clayton Carpenter, nowhere near as skilled as Clayton Carpenter. And that guy still was able to take him down multiple times and hold him down for like 4 minutes of the first round, or 4 minutes 30 seconds of the first round. And Rocha only landed like 8 strikes or something, 12 strikes. So not a whole lot of strikes were landed. He just happened to land that perfect shot that he did set up. He did see coming. But again, I can't just lean based off one moment. I can see I would pick a guy like Rocha if he had good scramble ability. He had good, decent takedown defense plus scramble ability. Like, this guy's gonna take him down, but he can scramble. He can mix the shots to the body. He can wear him down, and he does a good job of setting up the flying. He does a good job of setting. He does a good job of countering, level changes, which he does do a good job. But I feel like he spends too much time on his back as he showed on the Contender Series, and it's not like he really had a good fight. He had a good moment in a fight. He didn't have a good fight. He had a good result, but he had a good moment in the fight. I like guys that have I like guys that have rounds. I like guys that are able to scramble and whatever the case may be. And I did not see that from him. I saw a guy had a moment. I can't really just pick a moment. So I feel like Clayton Carpenter will be able to. And also, he's a young fighter. It's not like Carpenter's an older fighter with a chin issue. This fight might start that chin issue for him. Could potentially, worst case scenario. But I think Clayton Carpenter's chin should hold up. I think he's going to be perceptive of that's what Rocha's looking for. Be able to get him down, control him, and grind out a decision over Rocha. So in this one, I got Clayton Carpenter via decision. Now to our next one, we have in the bantamweight division, we got Dan Argueta versus Cody Haddon. And how do I feel about this one right here? I'm going low confidence Cody Haddon to beat Dan Argueta. Low confidence Cody Haddon to beat Dan Argueta. Dan Argueta is very live in this fight, to be honest. In his last fight, he fought another, promising prospect in John Matsumoto. And he was, putting on a pretty good wrestling grappling clinic on him early, was taking him down. And it just seemed like he was slowing as it was that John Matsumoto was able to find a submission. Like, he kept getting back up to his feet, kept getting taken down, getting back to his feet. But, Argueta's pacing was crazy. His wrestling's still crazy for this level. And that could be an issue for a lot of fighters, especially a young fighter like Cody Haddon, who's, getting his feet wet in the UFC. It's not a give-me debut by any means. So I feel like his wrestling could definitely wrestling and pace could cause Cody Haddon a lot of issues. But I'm leaning Cody Haddon low confidence to win. I think he'll be able to, scramble with Argueta at points, be the cleaner striker, riding a better momentum. Argueta's coming off a loss, but again, he's still very live here. But I'm going with a young fighter who has the steam behind him to be able to scramble, final shots, and eke out a very close fight over Argueta. I think he'll do a good job of mixing in his own grappling as well against Argueta. I don't think he'll be a stop Argueta. I still think Argueta's going to have more success in the grappling than Haddon, but I think Haddon's going to be able to be competent enough and hold his own in that department enough that he can get his own strikes off on the feet where he'll have the advantage and be able to grind out a very, very eeky close decision over Argueta. So in this one, I have Cody Haddon via decision. Now to our next one, we have in the women's strawweight division, we got McKenna versus Julia Polastri. And how do I feel about this one right here? I'm going low confidence Julia Polastri to beat McKenna. I just feel like both of these women match up, they mirror each other. That's what I'm saying. They mirror each other a lot. I feel like neither of them are the most talented fighter in any particular area. I feel like both of them kind of seem like little itty mini mighty moles. Like they seem like kind of little cute little short type chicks. And not the greatest power, not the greatest talent, but they want to be here and they got that dog in them. Like they're little like puppies, but they got dog in them. They got a big bite in them, kind of. But not the big bite, but they got the heart, the heart of the dog, not the bite of the dog, but they got the heart. That's the best description of them. And yeah, both got decent striking. I feel like McKenna got better kicks, Polastri got better boxing, slightly better kicks, slightly better boxing. I think the biggest edge is Polastri's grappling. I feel like McKenna is physically strong as Polastri, and she has been dominating grappling in her last fight, and she has been submitted I think twice or something, or at least a couple fights where she's been out grappled against fighters that aren't to the level. Well, Amarin's a pretty solid grappler, but nonetheless, to get to the point, I'm all over the place with one. But basically, I feel like they marry each other very well. But I think when it comes down to, I think Polastri is the better grappler. I think striking can kind of cancel out for the most part, in my opinion. And I think even stats say Polastri is more active on the feet. Like she throws more, she lands more, and has a higher accuracy. So that's another thing. So even though I say they even out, it seems like on paper Polastri is more active and more successful for striking. And also, again, where I feel the biggest gap or the biggest edge for any other fighter is Polastri. She has momentum, but again, above that, she's a stronger grappler in this one. And I think she'll be able to use that grappling, use that strength as well in the grappling exchanges to get the positions, to get the takedowns, and build up control time. On top of having whether she's edging the striking or it's pretty close on the striking department, I think she'll be able to build up control time with takedowns and top control, and be able to edge McKenna just slightly here and get her hand raised in a decision victory. So in this one, I have Julia Polastri via decision. All right, let's see. Now to our next fight, we have in the heavyweight division, we got Junior Tafa versus Sharaf. And how do I feel about this one right here? I'm going low confidence Junior Tafa to beat Sharaf. And this is one of the cases where you got a wild card here. You got a guy coming on short notice. You got a guy with a record that really don't say much. He got the power to knock people out at the very least. It's not like he has pillow hands, at least as far as we know. He's knocked out some guys that aren't good at all. It's not even a question. Like, were the guys he fought good? Nah, they weren't good. Nah. Just like that. It's like, you don't have to think about it. These guys he's fighting have been trash. And I seen was looking through the guys, I seen Sean Sharaf. And I seen he's been sparring with some good guys like, Rico Verhoeven, Luke Rockhold and whatnot. But again, does that really mean much? Not really. A lot. Anybody, anyone any bit okay can be a sparring partner, especially when your opponents are, just using you as a kind of like a moving punching bag, a moving simulation dummy. So they're not really out there trying to hurt you. They're just out there picking their shots and they touch you. They could knock you out if they wanted to. And in all those videos, I think they could have just tore him up, but they were just like, give him a feel. They were getting a feel for him and not trying to hurt their sparring partner. He didn't look like he was on their level. That's all I'm gonna say. But nonetheless, he's been trained with these people for a long time. But as far as his pro career and amateur career, it's like he just took a long time to get started. And even after this long time getting started, he's fought the weakest competition he could possibly find. Like, what are you waiting for? You got your cans out of the way. But I guess, hey, he's jumping to the UFC when he got opportunity. But yeah. But all I'm saying for Sean Sharaf, my concern more so than his striking is actually his grappling. Like, where's his grappling at? He does train at Extreme Couture, so it's a Randy Couture's gym. Shouldn't it be better wrestling? But it's not like I've seen the greatest wrestling from Extreme Couture in a long time. At one time, Gray Maynard and a couple grapplers there, but I don't feel like Extreme Couture really has the best grapplers there, in my opinion, or at least I haven't seen none in recent years. So that don't really mean nothing, especially heavyweight. Heavyweight in general just don't got great grapplers right now in general. So I'm not expecting great grappling from him. So another reason, I can see if it was a gym like, everybody in the gym is a straight stuff. Like Alpha, everybody in the gym has, that's not even the same though. Because Alpha, at one point, every single fighter in Alpha had a great guillotine. Now it's like, 3 guys here got great guillotines. At first, everybody had a great guillotine at Alpha Mill. But yeah. But to get to the point, I'm dragging this one. Sean Sharaf hasn't shown me nothing. He hasn't fought no one. He hasn't said nothing. And unless the guy that's coming from some great collegiate background in wrestling or some great striking background, with this unproven record, I can't lean to him. That's the only reason I will lean to a guy like this who has an unproven professional record. Unless it was some great amateur record or some other D's done in kickboxing, boxing, judo, BJJ, something like that. And he doesn't have that. He has nothing. Just a record of beating the worst guys you could possibly find on that are professional. So I'm going with Junior Tafa, who has a background in kickboxing, who has fought some real good guys in kickboxing, held his own with some real good guys in kickboxing, and has actually tested himself as an MMA fighter, and also is a younger, taller fighter and has the longer reach. And I'm going to predict him to knock Sean Sharaf out in the first round. Sean Sharaf probably be loading up like he fighting the cans he fought, and Junior Tafa's going to stay sharp on the shots, be long but short on the shots, be able to touch him, and I think he puts Sharaf out into the mid-late portion of the first round. So in this one, I have Junior Tafa via first round TKO. So Junior Tafa first round TKO. Now to our next fight, we have in the welterweight division, we got Niko Price versus Themba Gorimbo. And how do I feel about this one right here? Is I'm going high confidence Themba Gorimbo to beat Niko Price. And Niko Price is live, but I do like Themba Gorimbo a lot. And every time I predict him, ever since he got that donation or that blessing from The Rock, I got to give that story a little bit of a run through. Like, no, he was living with penny to penny, like not even paycheck to paycheck, like penny to penny. He like broke. Then he got that when he desperately needed. As a matter of fact, he was doing that his whole career just broke, trying to make something happen, and relying off like life or death or this starving or fed off of winning. Like he lost, like the man is starving. He wins, he's barely getting by. And then he got that when he desperately needed against Takashi Sato. The Rock heard his story. He got that win bonus that at least covered him a little bit. And then The Rock saw a story, gave him all that money. I think got him a house, got him a lot of different things. And for a guy like that who comes from that position, he's going to thrive in that position. We have seen him looking better and better, seen his grappling improving, seen his striking improving. We have seen that growth, and I think we're going to continue to see that growth from him, at least at this level, until they try to throw him into the really middle of the pack guys and then to the elite guys if he gets there. But as far as like a Niko Price, a guy that's clearly downtrending, never been technical in any area, I think Gorimbo should do good here. I think Gorimbo's going to knock him out in the first round. Niko Price's defense is way too trash, but hey, Niko Price is always like live for that goofy, upset Willy Wonka finish. So gotta respect that, but I think Themba Gorimbo knocks him out. And I'm very hoping he knocks Niko Price and cuts him from the UFC. I'm tired of saying that goofball in the UFC, to be honest. Yeah. So I think Themba Gorimbo knocks him out the first round. Going to be able to explode, crack him down the middle. Not going to expect him to just run out there sloppy. Niko Price going to be sloppy one, but Themba Gorimbo's going to be able to find that shot in it. If it has to go long, I think Gorimbo will be the stronger guy, be able to out-grapple Niko Price. But I think he knocks him out the first round, be able to catch him down the middle after filling him out, and I think he puts him out mid to late first round via TKO. So in this one, I got Themba Gorimbo via first round TKO. Now for our next fight, we have in the featherweight division, we got Jonathan Pearce versus Pat Sabatini. And how do I feel about this one right here? Is I'm going low confidence Jonathan Pearce to beat Pat Sabatini. But yeah, my main concern here with Pearce is, it's the obvious concern here with any person going with Pat Sabatini. The concern that Pat Sabatini could put the grappling clinic on him. That's my concern. And JSP has, I'm not going to say he has been putting the grappling clinic so much, but I think his takedown defense stat is like 54%, which I don't like a whole lot here. I would want it to be like 80% or really 100%. That'd be great. But 54% is pretty terrible going in with Pat Sabatini. But on paper and skill-wise, what we've seen, Jonathan Pearce himself is a grappler, so he should be able to use his grappling in reverse to defend the takedowns, and should be able to hold his own at the very least with Pat Sabatini. On feet, I think that's where the big, it should, as a matter of fact, Pearce on bottom is just about as big of a gap is both of them standing. So they both have a big advantage. If Sabatini could get Pearce down, Sabatini has a big advantage. If Pearce can keep his striking, Pearce has a big advantage. But I think if Pearce can extend the striking exchanges, I think he has a much higher chance of finishing Sabatini than Sabatini has a chance of finishing Pearce. Because Sabatini on the feet, when he gets touched, he has little to no heart when he's on the feet getting touched. And I did like the fact that what's his name? I just forgot the guy's name, but Damon Jackson was able to finish him with like a front kick to the face, and Sabatini got rocked so bad that he had to tap the strikes. And Pearce did show a good front kick a couple times against Darren Elkins, who has even more heart, much more heart than Sabatini does. It's not even it's a like different planets, different galaxies. Elkins is known for having a heart. He's known for being damaged or whatever. Sabatini is known for being a marshmallow when he get touched. But yeah, I gotta go Pearce here. Low confidence. That could takedowns and grappling concerns me. I think he's coming off a submission loss. It was a different situation, but still submission nonetheless. So that's a concern. But I feel basically to sum it up, I think Pearce can address the grappling. He does have good wrestling, so hopefully he can use that and come in locked in. And instead of with his stats show coming with like 80% takedown defense or 100% for this fight, and he has a clear advantage on the feet and keep on the feet. And I'm gonna say second round TKO for Jonathan Pearce. Like, work behind the jab, mix up the stances, blast that front kick up the middle, catch Sabatini a couple times, but is able to capitalize and put him away in the second round after hurting him and get that second round TKO. So in this one, I got Jonathan Pearce via second round TKO. Now to our next fight we have in the flyweight division. We got CJ Vegara versus Ramazan Temirov. And how do I feel about this one right here? Is I'm going average confidence Ramazan Temirov to beat CJ Vegara. And the confidence could be higher, could be lower. It could be lower because of the fact that Ramazan Temirov is primarily a striker. So it's not like the perfect stylistic matchup. It could be higher if Ramazan Temirov was, again, the perfect matchup where he is his grappler. CJ Vegara seems to struggle with like good, strong grapplers who especially can finish you early or go to rounds. So, yeah, that's the concern here. That's why the confidence not as high. It could be lower, but I'm giving Temirov a little bit of push because of the fact that I'm not really trusting CJ Vegara in this position to be a guy that, just like Odie Osborne like a couple weeks ago, yes, he has the skills and he has the opportunity here, stylistically wise. But I just, in this spot he's currently in his life and in his career, I'm not expecting him to be the guy that's going to upset a promising prospect. He's a slow starter, not really a great consistent finisher. And Temirov seems to be strong. He seems to be durable. Heavy hands, pretty good striking. I think Ramazan Temirov is a better striker. And yeah, I think where I'm going. I'm going first round TKO for Ramazan Temirov. I think CJ Vegara is a slow starter. I think Temirov is the better striker overall, and I think he can get off to a good start. And I think he can capitalize on CJ Vegara's slow start, catch him cold, and put him out cold in the first round. Yeah, I think he'll be too fast, too heavy-handed, too crisp with his striking, and I think CJ Vegara is going to take too long to get into the fight. CJ Vegara is typically a guy that comes off with a slow start. You know, he kind of rallies against opponents in his fights that he does win. And I think Ramazan Temirov could beat him for 15 minutes. But I think he's especially going to capitalize on him in the first round and not give Vegara the chance to even come alive in this fight. And I think he gets him out of there in the first round and makes a statement. So, in this one, I have Ramazan Temirov via first round TKO. Now to our next fight we have in the middleweight division. We got Josh Fremd versus Abdul Razak Alhassan. And how do I feel about this one right here? Is I'm going average confidence Abdul Razak Alhassan to beat Josh Fremd. So really in this one, what does Fremd really have working for himself here? You know, I guess maybe one he got insane in the quick pick. I guess in the clinch he has some work there, I guess. But I feel like he clinched up with Abdul Razak Alhassan, who has a judo background. Alhassan could put him on his butt. And we see Fremd struggle to get off his back. We seen Fremd don't really have no great submissions off his back or no great threat off his back. That's another thing. But outside that, basically what I feel he has over him, he has youth and he has length. And in his fight against Jamie Pickett not too long ago, he barely got past Jamie Pickett. So that finishing ability not is where I would want it to be if I was going to even really respect Fremd so much in this one. I do respect his chances here. But if I like really were to respect it, maybe drop my confidence in him losing or maybe try to pick him as an underdog here. If you know, he was able to put away a guy like Pickett. No insult to Pickett, but Pickett at that point was getting finished by everybody. So that's why you should have not only have stopped him, but you did. I mean, not only should you not have struggled against him like you did, you should have stopped him. But you went to a struggle decision against Jamie Pickett at that point, and that was not a good look. And now two of your fights, he got dominated in the grappling department. And he just has not looked good or anything great in his UFC fights. He had one fight against Cedric Dumas, who Dumas is not that good either. You know, they're both kind of at lower level of the middleweight division. But yeah, I think Abdul Razak Alhassan should be the close the distance. Should be that out grapple him if he needs to. But I see Abdul Razak Alhassan just, you know, putting the pressure on him, cracking him, and Fremd just not really having much of an answer. Just getting put on that back foot and getting cracked with big shots until he's eventually put away. I would say first round. Second round kind of extended a little bit too much. I'm going to say first round TKO for Abdul Razak Alhassan. I think he can win a decision here. And it's definitely live, but I'm going to lean to a first round stoppage for Abdul Razak Alhassan. Just pushing the pace, put him on the back foot, cracking with big shots. And Fremd just not really having an answer or really, you know, having the power to get the respect or the defense to be able to, you know, the defense to be able to defend and or the foot movement to be able to get out of the way and extend the fight. And Abdul Razak Alhassan just put him on the back foot, cracking him, and put him out in the first round. So, in this one, I have Abdul Razak Alhassan via first round TKO. Now to our next fight, we have in the welterweight division, we got Daniel Rodriguez versus Alex Morono. And how do I feel about this one right here? Is I'm going average confidence Daniel Rodriguez to beat Alex Morono or whatever his name may be. Yeah, Morono just looked like straight dirt, straight garbage in his last fight. And he never looked spectacular, to be honest. He has some fights where he overachieves and he wins, but he never looks great. I'll say that. And yeah, I think Daniel Rodriguez is just the much more clinical striker. He has a better chin coming off the better performance. Morono should have the grappling advantage, but his wrestling offense has never been great. And I think Rodriguez should be able to address the grappling. Anything, Morono has grappling has been looking bad in his last couple fights. He looked tired after Court McGee grappling him up a bit in that fight, and he barely got past Court McGee. Then in his last fight, he let Nico Price take him down. And after a couple takedowns, he looked gassed and had zero pop or pizzazz in his punches. So, if anything, he probably gonna not try to look to mix up the grappling too much because it's gonna tire him out. By the way, I see him get knocked out in the second round. Whether he's mixing and grappling and having okay success or no success, I think he's going to wear himself out. And whether he's grappling or not, he's still going to have the same sloppy striking, same Gumby legs, same soft pillow head, same slappy punches. I think Darren Rowe's going to be there, pop his head back with a jab, risk some shots to the body, maybe chew his legs up a bit. And it's either way, just picking him apart, breaking him down. And I think he stops Alex Morono in the second round via TKO, like just breaking him down over the course of the fight. And then finding that stoppage in the second round. This accumulation of damage, break him down with a jab, mixing shots to the body, to eventually he sets up the headshot and puts Morono out in the second round. So, in this one, I have Daniel Rodriguez via second round TKO. Now to our next fight we have in the lightweight division. We have Grant Dawson versus Rafa Garcia. And how do I feel about this one right here? Is I'm going low confidence Grant Dawson to beat Rafa Garcia. And yeah. Garcia is definitely live here. He has underrated wrestling offense and underrated wrestling defense, and he's definitely the much better striker between these two right here. So Grant Dawson definitely relying on getting this fight to the ground. If he can't get this fight to the ground, he's in a bad trouble. If Garcia's able to give him struggle and maybe cause Dawson to wear out just from the grappling exchanges, and then it turns into a striking battle, bad shape or a potential to lose a split decision, lose a decision. But I'm going Grant Dawson here. I feel like he's the better talent. He's fought better competition, beat better competition. Garcia does present an interesting stylistic matchup for him, and he does present challenges if the fight goes his way. He is the more well-rounded fighter. But when I look at Rafa Garcia, my question is he as good as Damir Ismagulov? Is he as good? Is he better? I don't think so. I think Damir Ismagulov has had a pretty decent wrestling defense, pretty decent wrestling offense, and it was a better striker than Rafa Garcia, better talent than Rafa Garcia. And Grant Dawson was able to take him down and tool him on the ground. I'm not going to say he's going to tool Rafa Garcia. I think Rafa Garcia is going to do a better job of defending the takedown, maybe do a better job of getting back to the feet, maybe. But yeah, I think he'll do better than Damir Ismagulov. But I think Grant Dawson, I don't think Grant Dawson is going to lose to a fighter of this caliber, in my opinion. Again, I think Rafa Garcia is live. It's enough to make me kind of just stay off of Grant Dawson, but I just don't think he's going to lose to this caliber fighter that Rafa Garcia is. And I think he's been in these fights that, he has had that lesson now, and he's not, about to be told it again or have to learn it again. He's going to come here in good shape, prepared to wrestle and re-wrestle, reshoot, and mix up the takedowns if he needs to get takedown. And maybe come in with a little bit more polished striking, just enough to get the respect of Garcia, give him something different to look at, and then so he can go back to the wrestling and grappling. And I think he grinds out a gritty decision of Rafa Garcia. Mixing the striking just enough, show just enough improvements so that he can get his takedowns off, build up control time, and eke out a decision over Garcia. And also Garcia, it's not like Garcia is the greatest finisher. He's not a consistent finisher. He's not a heavy-handed guy consistently. Matter of fact, he's never really a heavy-handed guy. But I'm saying he's not a heavy-handed guy, and he's not a consistent finisher either. So if Grant Dawson could get off to a good start and this, I guess, take a couple clear rounds, or maybe win a clear first round, and then do just enough to win the second or third round, I think he could do that, or he could just take all 3 rounds. But I definitely think he can grind out 2 rounds here, and if he needs to, I think he can survive against Garcia, in the worst case scenario, in my opinion. So, in this one, I got Grant Dawson via decision. Now to our next fight we have in the welterweight division. We got Chidi Njokuani versus Jared Gooden, and how do I feel about this one right here? I'm going let me see. Yeah, I'm going Chidi Njokuani, low confidence to beat Jared Gooden. I feel like Jared Gooden is the more well-rounded fighter, and I think more well-rounded fighter. But I kind of feel like this is going to play out kind of like the Randy Brown fight, with Randy Brown is a longer, more technical striker. Chidi Njokuani is a longer, more technical striker. And I think he'll be able to keep Jared Gooden at bay. It's not like Jared Gooden is the greatest offensive wrestler. I think in his last fight he was able to get a sub, but it was more so, after the result of accumulating damage that was able to set up the grappling exchanges. So it kind of got to come from the striking first. And if a guy comes to striking, Chidi Njokuani, I feel, is the better striker. I feel like Gooden is tougher. He's definitely live here. But I'm going to lean to Chidi Njokuani being the longer, more technical striker. And also, I think another thing, this is at welterweight. It's not at middleweight, so he's not dealing with as big as a guy. He was dealing with middleweight grapplers. He's dealing with a welterweight guy who's not really even a grappler like that. More so a counter grappler than an offensive grappler. So again, kind of just leans back to striking. I think Chidi Njokuani would be longer, more technical, be able to work behind the jab, work his leg kicks well. When Jared Gooden, and also Jared Gooden, a lot of his strikes are big, wide swinging shots. So again, that benefits Njokuani to be able to catch him with elbows on the inside, probably some stepping elbows, some elbows like this when Jared Gooden tries to clinch, some knees as well. And I think he'll be able to outstrike Gooden to a decision here. Competitive, close, but competitive, close, but I'm leaning to a decision for Chidi Njokuani. I'm not gonna say it's gonna be a clear decision. I feel like this could be a split decision, but I'm leaning to a decision for Chidi Njokuani. So in this one, I have Chidi Njokuani via decision. Now to our next fight, we have in the middleweight division, we got Brad Tavares versus Junyoung Park. And how do I feel about this one right here? Is I'm going average confidence, Junyoung Park to beat Brad Tavares. And I think this is surprisingly close fight, to be honest. It seemed like it should be a walk in the park for Park, no pun intended. But it's not the perfect stylistic matchup. I think Brad Tavares could purely shut down Park's takedowns. I'm not expecting Park to shoot a high aggressive wrestling pace. I mean, especially when he knows that Tavares had like one of the best takedown defense ratios in the sport's history, especially in the middleweight division. I think he still has the highest defense ratio in the middleweight history, if not second or third. So he's not going for that. I do think Park is a better striker, but Tavares' calf kicks and kick game can be a problem for a guy who's primarily a boxer like Park. And also Park, what would make this perfect for Park if he did have the boxing that he had, but he had more power. Because Tavares does seem to fold under the power. Even guys he may be technically more skilled in, or in a better position in, if they got power, that can just overwrite all of that against Tavares. Because Tavares can be a better overall fighter, but a guy that kind of just had power and at least decent skills. Once they put that power on his chin, Tavares just folds. But Park's not particularly a power puncher, so that definitely opens the fight up for both guys. But I do like Parks here. I think he's a better, cleaner striker. I think he'll do a decent job addressing the kicks and have the better hands. And I just see him outboxing Tavares to a decision here. Close, gritty fight, but I think Park will do enough. I think he outstrikes Tavares to a close decision here, but a clear decision in my opinion. So in this one, I got Junyoung Park via decision. Now to our main event, we have in the flyweight division, we got Brandon Royval versus Tatsuro Taira. And how do I feel about this one right here? Is I'm going average confidence, Tatsuro Taira to beat Brandon Royval. I think a big part of what made Brandon Royval look so decent in his last fight with Morono was the fact that it was high altitude. And as we look at it, even the last card, we saw a lot of fighters who had much higher wrestling and grappling paces. We seen them just kind of not want to wrestle or not wrestle as much. Like Juliana Pena, yes, it was a layoff. Yes, it was high altitude, blah, blah, blah. And she didn't come there early enough. But still, I feel like even fighters that came there on time, I feel like they did not wrestle as much as they usually do. And not to say that Morono is the greatest grappler. He's not. But Morono had such success with his grappling against Royval the first time, but he didn't shoot as much takedowns or with as much effort as he did in the first time they fought. So this is not at high altitude. And Taira is much more of a grappler than Morono. And Royval is a guy who's so content to spend time on bottom. We have seen him slowly shifting from that, but at the end of the day, he's still that guy that likes to attack sub off his back. He likes to throw wild, wonky shots, likes to do wild, wonky grappling. And I think Taira's going to do a bit exploit that. Exploit the wild, wonky striking and get takedowns on him. Exploit the fact that Royval spends too much time on the ground trying to find crazy submissions and just look to counter his submission. I mean, he's countering his attempts and pass on him. And really, I feel like Taira's just going to be a step ahead in the whole fight, just outsmarting the sloppy, unorthodox Royval, landing his own strikes, mixing his own takedowns, controlling the position, controlling the tempo, and letting Royval just be, just all over the place, unorganized, unpolished, wild and wonky, and Taira being composed and clinical and technical in all his facets of MMA, and exploiting the Tony Ferguson type of fighter that Royval is, breaking him down and exploiting his weaknesses, exploiting his flaws, his shortcomings, and eventually being able to find that submission in the third round in a scramble and tapping Royval out in the third round. So in this one, I have Tatsuro Taira via third round submission. And that concludes my fight predictions for the four-card fights for UFC Fight Night, Royval versus Taira. And as always, thanks for watching. Peace.